the other half of this coin, I should say, like the other side of this coin that's been part of the Barbenheimer phenomenon has been Oppenheimer, which has come out at the same
Yep.
time. And it's actually doing really well as well. It's pretty much half of what Barbie is doing, but it's overperformed at the box office. So it's now sitting at $220 million worldwide.
Nice.
I think we all knew it was never going to be it was never going to be the kind of movie that would have mass market appeal in the same way that something like Barbie does. One, because it's a 15, and two, because it's very not niche, but like it's a historical biopic. It's 3 hours long. It's very heavy, very serious. It's very Christopher Nolan. But it's nice to see that it is doing well, and it's kind of weird in a way that I think Oppenheimer is the movie that's benefiting more from the whole Barbenheimer phenomenon rather than Barbie. It's weird. It's leeching off Barbie's success somehow. And that is a strange state of affairs to be in. But I know most of you guys have seen Oppenheimer at this point. I guess I'd be interested to just hear your opinions on it.
For context in the audience, I have not seen it, but I will ask questions here and there.
Yeah.
I thought it was
I know,
fine. It was fine.
I'll start out with a controversial statement. I really enjoyed the section of the movie after the bomb.
My God.
That is controversial.
That is, yeah.
Because, yeah, I'll be honest, that was like my least favorite aspect of the movie.
I did. I saw that in your review, and I've seen that, critiqued by a few people, and maybe it's just the type of thing that I enjoy, but the political machinations, kind of, all the behind the scenes stuff, it was a little bit expository at times, and I didn't love that. It's like we could have seen that, but I guess it would have made the movie a lot longer. But I really enjoyed the courtroom drama aspect, or courtroom, not a courtroom drama. I thought whoever played the prosecutor did an excellent job. I really enjoyed like the one scene where he is interrogating Emily Blunt's character, and he kind of moves closer to her. He doesn't do it with anybody else, but like when he's interrogating a woman, he moves closer to her. I don't know if he's trying to like establish rapport or dominate her or whatever, and she kind of backs him down. And I thought that was a really fun scene. Maybe a little out of nowhere. I haven't seen a ton of fire from her, but I thought I enjoyed that nonetheless. I thought the rest of the movie was excellent, but I did really genuinely enjoy the last hour, and I watched it last night from 9 to midnight, so it wasn't just because I was at peak energy either.
I think for me, like, there was some excellent moments in that final hour. The Emily Blunt standing up for Robert was like a highlight. The final revelation about the actual conversation he had with Einstein, a great payoff, really good. There's just a lot of, not sludge in between, but there's a lot of fairly tedious court hearings and interviews and like going over the same ground probably more times than they needed to. I think that was probably what stuck for me. You get to see the same scene from a lot of different perspectives, like the hearing where Strauss got humiliated by Oppenheimer. It's like, okay, we've seen this like 5 times now. There was a bit much of that for me, but what about the rest of you guys?
I really enjoyed it. I think with a biopic and you're going over someone's entire life, you're already going to have things that are jumping around a lot. And then you add Nolanisms, which is he jumps around a lot too. So like the first 30 minutes, that combination made for like a really choppy first, 30 or so minutes. But then after that, it felt like a crescendo to the building of the bomb. And it's like, the story and you probably already know how you feel about the existence of nuclear weapons and everything. So it's like up to Nolan to really capture that for you and put it all in one scene. And I thought he really did that. Like it hit me emotionally when that bomb went off. And I thought he did an incredible job building up to it too. The third act though, it's like a totally different movie. It's like a spy thriller almost. So I had to like get re-engaged for that. But I felt the performances really kept me engaged. Like Robert Downey Jr. Absolutely crushed this, especially after like the last year we're all making fun of him for going vegan. And then he comes out and just slams it home,
Yeah. I mean, he's looked pretty fucking ill in some of the pictures I've seen. I think he might have lost weight for this role, I guess. But he, like you say, he did a great performance in this.
Yeah.
What about Blue Collar Ken? What do you reckon, man?
I do wonder, like, much like Gary, I cannot watch the Lord of the Rings films without watching extended editions because it's perfectly paced and acted and everything going into it. With Oppenheimer, like everybody said, with the way Nolan has a tendency to kind of repeat different scenes and different dialogue, I do wonder, like Chernobyl, would Oppenheimer be better for a mass appeal if it was like 6 half-hour episodes? Just because of the pacing issues. Because like even like people can love or hate Snyder Cut. When Snyder Cut came out, I actually took 7 of us in our family. We made it 4 1-hour episodes, and I think it's a lot better like that. And Oppenheimer, I can name 20 friends that are not going to sit through a 3-hour biopic, but they'll watch a 3-hour miniseries. It's funny like that.
It was interesting because like the best way I could describe it in my review was like I was never bored necessarily. Like I was engaged throughout the whole movie because it's so technically well done. The performances are fantastic. This movie's got the kind of cast that most directors would fucking kill for. Brilliant cast of people, and they all give great performances. Nolan obviously knows what he's doing from a technical perspective, so I was very engaged. I just wasn't necessarily invested the whole time because it doesn't have that emotional component that I was looking for. But yeah, like I think it could be done as a miniseries. I think that could potentially work quite well. Gary, what about you, man? Like, I know I've seen some of your tweets about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you negative Nancy.
That's me. Well, I mean, I didn't hate it, right? I didn't hate it. It was meh to me. It was super bloated, self-indulgent. The editing in the beginning was just nonsensical. There was just a lot dialogue delivery, cut the scene, and that's where I'm in agreement that I didn't mind the third act. I didn't mind it because Robert Downey Jr.'s performance was so freaking good. So was Cillian Murphy's, but like that first hour, it's like, all right, he likes to screw communists. I get it. And they didn't even show all the communists he screwed. They showed they insinuated it. But the Florence Pugh's character like made no sense in this. It was like, we meet her, she's sad, she kills herself, or maybe murdered, not sure in that order. And there's nothing in between them. I feel like I missed a whole lot with this. I'm supposed to care about her dying because I don't. And I knew the history of it, and I just didn't think. I think they could have done that in 10 minutes. If it was a shorter movie, maybe a masterpiece. But I'm not going to call it a masterpiece. I'm going to call it like a Nolan film, and I think he could use an editor. And I think what happens to directors when they gain when there's so few of them left, and he's still top 3 director in Hollywood, maybe top 2 without a doubt. But him and Tarantino both get a little self-indulgent now and could use trimming it down. I think it would have been a much better 2-hour film. I understand it's about Oppenheimer. Me personally, I wanted a little more science in it instead of just like a bowl of freaking marbles explaining the bomb. Come on, but the performances are great. It was cool picking out all the actors. It was like, oh, Drake and Josh guy and guy from Diary from a Wimpy Kid and stuff. It was Guy Forville. Like that was fine. And dude, the theater was packed. I saw it at Comic-Con, right? So me and Paulie and Quarterback Garrett like last minute were like, hey, let's go see Oppenheimer. And we couldn't find anything within 20 miles. So we had to drive 20 miles damn near to the Mexican border to go see Oppenheimer in separate seats at like 9:00. And it was packed. So people are liking it. And it's extraordinary for a rated R movie that's 3 hours long. That shows you the power of Nolan, even off of Tenet. And quite frankly, I don't think he's been great since Inception, but Gary Oldman as Truman, he's like, what the hell?
That was a fucking random one that came out of nowhere. Because I was looking at him and was like, that looks a bit like Gary Oldman, but like I can't quite be sure because like I don't know if he gained weight and there was loads of makeup on him, the hair was different and stuff. It's just like, damn, that was impressive that he can inhabit a role like that. Just before I go on, actually, I want to draw attention to the epic Ken chat that's going on. Like, we've got all this. We've got
Ken Noble,
Ken years in Tibet, a few good Ken. Ken go Unchained. Eat Ken love. What else have we got here? The Last Ken Fighter.
Oh my god.
Ken X, Jurassic Ken, Reservoir Kens.
Ken, things I hate about you. You got to do that.
Oh my
too.
god.
You take that.
Beautiful.
Lord of the Kens. There we go.
Ken 2, hashtag Ken 2.
Oh my god.
Good. That's a good one, chat.
Wait,
I
wait,
like that.
Mortal Kenbat.
Wow.
The Stepford Ken.
This is going to go on forever in chats now. You know that, right?
Legally Ken.
I can't help it. It's so good.
This is going to bleed into other live streams. This
The
is
Ken
gonna
Kenbat.
go on forever. I love it.
Wrath of Ken, not bad.
The round of
Super
Ken.
chats.
That's very good.
All right. Wait. Anyway, back to the serious movie chat. Come on, we're serious movie reviewers here. No, I agree on the. I will say about this movie. One, the IMAX showings in my area were fucking all sold out. Like every single one was booked out. I've never seen that before. But two, I mean, some of the scenes, like the Trinity test. When the bomb goes off.
Yeah.
It's one of the only times in a cinema I've actually jumped in my seat.
Oh my gosh.
Because it gets it very accurate, the whole the delay between the blast and the actual sound of it.
Sound wave. That was really well done.
The anticipation of it was just excellent.
Yep.
Because the filming of it is just cinematic beauty. Like I will say this about Nolan, he can frame a scene brilliantly. It's
I didn't mind the
glorious
establishing
to see.
shots, by the way. I know some people have complained about that.
I feel like those are almost necessary for such a momentous occasion.
There's just some really bad reviewers out there. And Oppenheimer was the bad person. He was just a bad person. No, he was a human being. He was a complicated human being. What they were really trying to show, I thought there would be more black and white, to be honest with you. Okay. Because the black and white was the objective and the color was the subjective. There was a lot of subjective, and I think they were really taking it towards Oppenheimer. Was this complicated but naive guy.
I think he genuinely believed that if he told the truth, he would be treated fairly. And it's like, nah, you're not living in that world anymore.
No.
But
he also hung out with a lot of communists.
He did, yeah. The movie plays it really coy about how involved he was. It just kind of frames him as like, I'm interested in a wide variety of political views, and I don't really subscribe to any of them. And you think, well, okay, fair enough. He's an inquiring mind. That makes sense for him. I think probably the real Oppenheimer was a bit more involved in that. But yeah, the movie doesn't go into it too much. I pointed this out in my review, actually. I felt like as a character, I didn't really know him any better by the end of the film than I did at the beginning. He's always this aloof, sort of mysterious figure that like you don't quite know what's going on in his head. And I guess it's an intentional choice. Like Nolan perhaps wanted to keep him a little bit vague and let you make your own choices about him.
He was a communist.
No, that could make sense though, that it was intentional, because when I had watched like a little bit of a documentary about him before I saw the movie, and I knew about like the Apple incident. And so when that happened right off the bat, I was like, oh, we're not going to hero worship nor really condemn this guy. Like we're going to try and show him just as he was, as a complicated person. But yeah, it didn't really lean in and tell you anything about Oppenheimer and what he thought.
But the movie never really goes into the moral question as well of over building the bomb. Like, I know it has him question it later on in the movie, and it's pretty much dismissed by Truman as like, well, I dropped the bomb, you didn't, you just built the thing.
Yeah.
But it would have been, I don't know, it would have been interesting to get a little bit more insight into that, because there must have been discussions like that on the Manhattan Project. Like, hey, this is going to incinerate tens of thousands of people. Are we really sure we want to do this? Because this seems horrible.
And Nolan purposefully left out the interview where he says, I have become death. But they repurposed that in a sex scene. So
that was weird.
That was weird.
Yeah.
Like,
am I the only one as well
that become death? I'm the destroyer of worlds.
Am I the only one that thought the sex scene was just awkward as fuck? It's like an android or an AI wrote a sex scene between two. Like, it's like the parameters were two very intelligent humans have sex, and it's like, You know, how do we frame this?
Nolan-
Because they don't talk to each other like people do.
No.
Nolan is a bit
That's like-
robotic in all
Yeah.
of his movies with certain things.
Yeah, I feel like Nolan movies, they don't really talk like how people do anyway.
No.
Regardless.
And this is where his shortcomings, I think, as you know, doing the whole human thing start to show.
Doing the
where
whole
it's
human thing.
That's his problem. Like, he just doesn't know how to do that. But, you know, he made the conscious choice to have a romantic subplot in this movie and to have sex scenes. And things like that have to be handled really well. Like, you have to get the kind of raw passion and emotion, or like the deep-seated feelings between two people that you can work into your story and bring it forward. And it's like he just doesn't know how to do it. He doesn't know how human beings fuck and and get together. Like, he just doesn't get it. It's so weird to see it. It's like they're sitting there like both butt naked on their chairs, and like they're just trading intellectual quips. They're speaking in a very flat, monotone way. They're not really expressing any emotion, and I just thought, who in the whole history of humanity has acted like that, apart from Christopher Nolan? Like, it's just so weird. Like, I think that's his response to like the criticism that his movies get. You know, he's probably aware now that people say, you know, your movies are very great, but they're very clinical and soulless, and you need a bit more humanity in them. And it's like somewhere in his database in his head, he's like, well, humans enjoy procreation, so if I have a scene of procreation in this movie, that will please the humans. I
want to ask everybody, besides, like Gary was saying, the Florence Pugh scenes, besides her scenes, where did this movie require 8R rating? Take out her scenes, there's nothing R that this film
A lot of
needs.
F-bombs. You're only allowed one if it's a PG-13.
Yeah.
They're not even that needed, really. You could probably substitute them.
Because we all know that R-rated films generally don't make as much as PG-13, except for like Deadpool or something, or a Joker. But, you know.
Did you see the Middle Eastern version of this, where Florence Pugh, like that scene where she's on a chair, they fucking CGI'd a dress onto her.
Wait, did they CG a dress onto Oppenheimer as well?
I don't know. Maybe a pair of Y fronts or something. Like,
Damn, that would be funny.
It's just like he's in long johns for no reason. But yeah, like it didn't feel like it added a whole lot to the story.
Yeah.
And like normally I'm all in favor of TNA in my movies, but in this case it's just like it felt weirdly out of place and just kind of gratuitous. I just didn't see how they needed it. So yeah, you probably could have done without that. But then if you cut that out, Florence Pugh's character doesn't have a whole lot going on. Like, she doesn't do a whole lot in the movie.
Exactly.
Yeah. But again, same deal with Emily Blunt's character. She's a fantastic actress, and I like what she does in this movie, but it's like it doesn't know where to take her as a character. You know, there's she and Oppenheimer get married, they have a baby. She very quickly is shown to be struggling as a mother. You know, she starts drinking. She's not that interested in looking after
They
the
give
kids.
away
She's
their
just-
baby to a communist to raise.
Only for a little while. They get it back.
Yeah, it's not even presented as this heart-wrenching thing. It's just like, this
No, it's
baby
like,
is
please take
hard to
baby.
look after. Please take baby.
Science.
Because, like, for him, it's like, okay, fine, I'm working on literally the most important project in the whole history of the human race. In her case, it's like, what the fuck is your excuse? You're not doing anything. You just can't be bothered. It's like, oh, okay, fine. Yeah, fair enough.
Got an intense book club that she's a part of, and you are undermining that right now.
Yeah.
I felt like
I could
Florence
get it if
Pugh's
she was
character.
What's that?
Oh,
sorry?
go ahead, Drinker.
No, I was going to say I could get it if she was also a scientist on the Manhattan Project, but it's like,
Exactly.
yeah, you're not really got much going on here. But again, you could do something with that character where it's like, if this was just purely a work of fiction, you could say, well, okay, she's jealous of the fact that he's got purpose in his life and he's pursuing this grand, project, that's going to change the fate of the human race. And maybe she wants something like that, but she can't because she's constrained by her role as a mother and all the rest of it. But the movie doesn't really go down that road. It kind of takes you to an end point,
And it was during the subjective part, so that part was all subjective anyway. We're not sure if it actually happened. I guess we know they gave away their kid. I mean, like, that shit happened. I mean, it does, but it's horrible. It's freaking
Communists
terrible.
are all
especially
about
when-
sharing, aren't they?
yeah, she just
Come on,
wanted to
Ken.
get home and drink.
I felt like
I can
Florence
relate.
Pugh's character existed just to like reinforce Emily Blunt's kind of stand by your man story, which is really all she had.
Yeah.
But like the moment when when Florence Pugh's character dies and Cillian Murphy is, he's like out in the woods and crying, and she comes and like shakes him and basically tells him like, get your ass up, you have
Don't
a job
be a
to
bitch.
do.
Yeah.
Don't be a little bitch. Like, you're not going to make us feel bad for you. You have something to do. I thought that was really good, but yeah, her character arc is basically like her ability to like stand by Oppenheimer the entire time, and that's it.
Yeah.
And that's like the only reason Florence Pugh's character really existed in real life. So,
She
that's
did.
why
I'm
she's in the
surprised
movie.
people aren't complaining that they've fridged her for Oppenheimer.
He's right, Florence Pugh is real. She's not CG. I
She's
don't know.
not CG.
She exists.
Those boobs were definitely real as well.
Those were real boobs.
Yeah, and I was almost shocked at like, holy shit, a movie that we're making nowadays has tits in it. Like, I can't believe this is actually happening.
And they made it the most sterile thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like, damn, dude. That's right. You could make tits like IKEA instructions. Well done.
It's not
I'll give
wrong.
Nolan credit. He decided to write this one on his own, though.
He didn't use his bro. I think
Nope,
he's
he did
good
it.
with his brother. I think his brother is terrible with his wife. Not Nolan's wife, but with Jonah's wife, Lisa Joy.
Oh yeah, didn't she take over Westworld?
She took over Westworld.
Oh,
And that was the point where Westworld became fucking
And they're
crap.
doing Fallout right now. Those two are doing Fallout. for
Fallout?
Amazon.
Oh, fuck.
With the female lead, by the way.
Of course.
Oh, thank God.
Thank God.
I was getting
thank
worried
God.
there, yeah.